Hello again. It's great to be out on the bike along with you today. You'll see that Michael and I are out for about a 40-mile easy ride today. Just keeping the legs going. I hope you're all keeping well and that you've managed to get out in the fairly dry and warm February. Looks like the weather's going to change in March. So out we are today, just for a bit of fun. Just making our way out through Wolverhampton, just to warm up. And we'll have a chat later on in the ride. We've just come along Wynyard Road and into Thorpe Hughes. Our next effort will be the climb up to Carlton. Well, I thought we'd have a talk about cycling goals for 2023 today while we're out. If you think back a couple of months to the beginning of the year, I'm sure most of you made some New Year resolutions. Things like, I'll get more exercise this year, I'll drink less, I'll lose some weight. But did you think of any cycling goals? If you want to revisit the vlog in which I did my cycling goals for 2022, I'll put a link up in the corner here. Then you'll see that I had a lot of things that I wanted to do, and as you might expect, life got in the way, so we didn't do them all. So this year, have you kept to your New Year resolutions, or like most people, did you break them in the first month? Well, it's the beginning of March now, and I'm thinking it's time to really decide a goal for cycling this year. You'll notice I've said one goal, because then it's more likely to be attained. But what have you got as a goal for this year? Or have you not thought about it? And if you had any last year and you didn't manage to complete them, have you got any idea why? The main reason for failure is that you've only made a vague goal and you haven't got a plan of how to achieve it. As we go around, I'll have a chat to you about how maybe you can set a goal and complete it this year. So we've just arrived at Honeypot Woods, just on the outskirts of Whitton. We said that the main reason for failure of New Year's resolutions was that they were vague. So you've got to be smart in the way that you define your goals for whatever it is, cycling or any other part of your life. What do we mean by smart? Well, the S in smart stands for specific. You've got to make your goal specific so that you can then determine whether you've met it or not. If we then continue with the letters of SMART, the M stands for measurable. So somewhere in defining your goal, you should make it measurable. My New Year's resolution was to get back to doing longer rides. Not great in terms of being able to measure that, but I think I'll try for a 200-kilometre ride again this year. I've now started to make it more specific. The A is for, is it achievable? I've done a 200-kilometre ride previously, so I know I can do them. If I was stupid enough to set a goal of winning an elite cycle race this year, that would be totally unachievable. Why? Well, the first thing is I'd have to have the appropriate racing licence, and that takes years to achieve. The R in SMART is for, is it realistic? For people who only do rides of 25 to 40 kilometres, maybe 15 to 25 miles, then stepping up to 200 kilometers in one go might not be realistic. That's where the T for timed in SMART helps you decide whether your goal is realistic. If you were to try and step up to that in a month, then it probably isn't. However, if you say that you're going to do it by, say, the end of September, 6 months to work towards it, then it's a possibility. My cycling goal for this year, and I'm suggesting people only have one, is that I'm going to cycle a 200 kilometer ride by the end of July, and the second part of timing is that I'm going to do it in the Audax time of 13.5 hours. How do you choose a cycling goal for 2023? Well, some of you will just want to do a distance. You might want to visit a place, say Hartlepool from Stockton and back if you're a new cyclist. You might choose an event, a sportif, or a charity event. In this case, your specific objective would be to do the event distance on the event day. Here we are, running down through Stillington and making our way onwards towards Bishopton. And at Bishopton Crossroads here, it's straight across. And then onto Folly Bank. What you choose as a cycling goal for 2023 will be dependent on where you are on your cycling journey. Whatever it is, then it's up to you to choose what you want to do. It's your challenge. The only thing I would suggest is that you do make it a challenge, something to take you outside your comfort zone. Then when you've completed it, you'll feel fantastic that you've achieved something that you may have thought you would never do. Now we're in the outskirts of Darlington, making our way through Great Burden and Houghton the Scan. Just here at the Highland Lady, we turn left and make our way down the cycle tracks and across the River Scan. And then we continue uphill and into the Red House Estate, approaching the Darlington Eastern Transport Corridor, along which there's a cycle path. And for those that are interested, the cycle path runs on the bed of the Stockton Darlington Railway, which had its first passenger service in 1825. There's plans afoot to make a cycling and walking path along the bed of the railway between Stockton and Shildon, where the passengers for the first service were actually loaded into the carriages. As we climb up to the bridge over the A66, we discovered that it's covered in rubber to make it easy for horses crossing over here. It does feel a little bit funny when you're cycling though. We're continuing on the 1825 railway course. If you've now decided on a cycling goal, then it's time to start planning. It's not as if you can just jump on a bike and do it tomorrow. It's a bit like if you decided you wanted to eat a whole pizza. You don't do that by cramming it all in your mouth at once. You take it slice by slice. So you need to think about the planning that goes into completing your goal. If you're upping your distance or you're climbing, then you'll need to factor that into some sort of training plan, adding a little bit of each every week or every month. You'll need to think about your bike. Is it ready? Does it need a service? Can you service it? The most likely thing to go wrong when you're cycling is a puncture. Can you fix it? I've shown you the spares that I've taken in another video. I'll put a link up here. And there's no point in taking those spares with you if you don't know how to use them. What about a route? You need to think of that if you're not going on an organised ride. What about your nutrition? What are you going to eat? You can buy sports specific bars and things, but you can make your own. What about the clothes that you need? How are you going to carry any spares, like a waterproof jacket? You can wear ordinary clothes. There's no need to buy the lycra that some people wear, like myself, but you need to consider what clothes you're going to wear on the day. There's lots to plan, and maybe as we go through the next few months, I'll try and put some videos together that talk about these things. You've already seen in my last video the checks I make on the bike before we leave. Just watch out for the dog walkers and dogs as you go along the cycle path here. It's under the bridge. And we make our way to the road into Middleton St George. We're going to cross the road and continue on the path. We've jumped onto the old road that runs up past the farm to join up with the airport road. As we emerge from the track, we turn left and head up the busy airport road towards Long Newton. We're off onto the cycle track into Long Newton. As I said earlier, the most likely mechanical problem you'll have on your bike when you're out is a puncture. And if you're not proficient in fixing these, then it can be a long walk home. I would advise you to learn how to do this. There's plenty good YouTube videos which cover this topic. However, some people like to learn by hands-on. You could ask a friend who's a proficient cyclist if they could help you learn, but there are Sustrans hubs throughout Teesside, like this one in Stockton High Street, and they tend to do courses, a half day I think they are, 3 hours, where they are happy to show you how to mend punctures, how to adjust brakes and gears, and if you have any other questions, I'm sure they'll help you with those as well. Take the right just after the Wilson Centre and make our way down towards Early Nook. Instead of turning right for Yarm, we're going to go straight across the roundabout and take the shortcut to Yarm Road, crossing the railway. At the traffic lights here, we're passing the entrance to Preston Park on the right, and you'll see that there's a row of trees all along the right hand side of the road here. Just the other side of that is one of the paths within Preston Park, and that again is the bed of the old 1825 railway. Well, Mike's as camera shy as normal, and I got to thank him for doing some of the camera work today. Just to finish the story about stopping the Darlington Railway, the booking office was just to the right here. Now demolished. I don't know what they're going to do about that to celebrate the bicentenary of the railway in a couple of years' time. Well, that's us back at the barrage now, and I hope you've enjoyed the vlog. Maybe it's given you some food for thought for cycling goals, and that you've seen that once you've decided on one, there's still a lot of planning and work to be done. Thanks for watching. Until we meet again, enjoy your cycling, stay safe. Bye for now.